Greetings and welcome back to Stellaris, my United Nations of Earth playthrough. So I'm going to try my best to be somewhat a little less bullying on the empires over here, being a little bit more selective as to what wars I join. I can't actively join a war right now, despite the fact that my allies proposed it, because technically we're still under a truce until 2463 September, almost October. And I am supporting the independence of a lot of members of their federation, so it really doesn't like me going to war with their federation. Now, what I would like to do, if I can, is kind of a liberation war on the Ivzorak to switch them over if they don't switch on their own, so that I can remove them as a antagonist. I'd also like to do secret fealty wars or supporting independence to kind of break away their vassals. But it all depends on what my allies try to do. If they keep trying to do conquest and things, they're going to create division in the Federation, because I am not going to support that. I've played a test game with First Contact. Got about 50 or 60 years into the game, and I am really liking the changes with that DLC, as well as the combat changes that aren't implemented in this particular playthrough, because this is the 3.53 update, even before the combat update. And I really am liking a lot of the changes. I got to play around with cloaking a little bit, and I ended up getting in a two-front war, which is utter disaster early in the game. So I just went ahead and stopped playing that little test game. Just the little bit I saw, I didn't spoil too much for myself, but it looks like I'm definitely going to enjoy it for my next playthrough. But this one has still got a ways to go. So there is the option, if you guys are interested, of me running 2 consecutive playthroughs. That'll make this one take even longer, because I'll be splitting my time though. So it's up to you guys. Just let me know down in the comments how you feel about that. I'm not ready to give up on this game yet. I still want to get to the endgame crisis, and I also would like to achieve my goal of bringing egalitarianism throughout the galaxy. We traded 11,000 minerals and 6,000 food for 100 volatile motes to the Visari. Heavily weighted deal on their side, but I have such a strong economy, I don't care at this point. Alongside the rights enshrined in recent galactic community resolutions, we ask additional responsibilities of our workers. We can now encourage unemployed workers to voluntarily resettle to other worlds we control that have available housing, jobs, and are of adequate habitability. Now, the problem with that is, I don't have places with available jobs and I have places with available housing, but not jobs. So unless they wanted to relocate to some of these areas that have huge amounts of available housing but no jobs, just be unemployed on a less crowded world, that's not really going to do me much good at this point. But let's have a look at it. It just boosts the automatic resettlement chance. Resuitable planets with jobs and housing. Well, that doesn't really happen, because as soon as I get available jobs on a habitat that I construct, they fill up almost immediately because of the unemployed pops seeking work already. They don't need a boost to their automatic resettlement chance. Now, that is viable if you use the standard population growth, which I believe bogs the game down unrealistically, in my opinion, because that's not the way population grows. Population doesn't become more stagnant as you get more population. It becomes more dynamic, actually. The more people there are, the more they breed. Gave 2,000 alloys to the Polysimus Mandate. Garanshu are in a migration treaty with the United Uberic Pact. Bengalian Trium finally moved. What do you have? The food storage containers for the price of 1,200 alloys. Drops food upkeep by 10%. I am not interested in that. Food is something I have a much higher surplus of, though I do have a surplus of alloys at this point as well. Darbalin are in a migration treaty with the Commonwealth of Man. United Ubrik Pact opened their borders to us, and we have reconnected to their capital. And I do not have an envoy raising relations with them. That's just from trades I have been doing and just default modifiers decreasing from the war and increasing from time. I've begun preparing sleeper cells here in Commonwealth of Man because our intel level, oddly enough, their relative encryption level is solid considered to ours, and their code breaking is very strong. So they must have gone down the subterfuge route and possibly gained some ascension perks that boosted their relative code breaking and security, which is or encryption, which is interesting. I really would like to be able to see what traditions they have chosen and how far along they are. Now, you can do that in a non-Iron Man game by enabling cheats. You can bring up the console, go into observation mode, click over to another empire, and actually see what that empire is doing. But I would like a way in-game through espionage to get more information on what they have actually done. Our contract with the Manticore Defenders has ended and their fleet is about to depart. Should we contact them and renew their contract? I didn't even realize it was ending. Yes, let's renew that. I want to keep them full-time. I'll just have to remember to renew it probably every 5 years or so. Like the end of this episode, I'll go ahead and extend it for another 10 probably. Or actually, every year ending in 0. So January of 2470, I need to extend the contract. Since my Federation has elected to go with very high centralization, I am going to push through the medium military fleet. Now, I'm going to have to call in a few favors to make sure it passes, but this should work. And in preparation for that, I went ahead and redesigned the Federation ships. So I noticed I had access to Scourge missiles here through the Federation. So that is what we are primarily using, is Scourge weapons and phase disruptors, as well as the Phase X weapon and the Cloud Lightning L weapon. And for our Titan, I went with the Inspiring Presence aura to boost ship fire rate. But basically I designed a missile boat for the corvettes, because that is a weakness of the computer, is fighting against missiles. As you see, I tear them up. I went with the picket for the destroyers, because that is also a weakness of the computers, is it does not rely on point defense enough. I do. And I went with missiles with the cruiser. And the biggest weapons I could get, and carrier for more strike craft for the battleship. Whereas the Titan is just all artillery, heavy artillery. Now primarily it's going to be like the battleships and the Titans that carry the war from here on out. Corvettes, destroyers, and cruisers tend to die a little readily. But yeah, as you see, I boosted shields tremendously on the Titan and the battleship and the cruiser. Anything below that, even boosting their shields by a little bit wouldn't help. It's better to boost evasion for destroyers and corvettes. Now this is going to put me over my naval capacity, but I could easily just disband a damn fleet. Darbalin broke their migration treaty with the Garanshu. Union of Fadima is in a commercial pact with the Garanshu. So 2 of our colonies are now founded. Alfheimer is going to be a research district, and as you see, I already moved one of the spare research science ships I had already to assisting research here. We do need to start with our Holo Theater and designate it as a research station. And ExxonMobil is going to be a gas refinery. So we need to designate it starting out as a leisure station and build a leisure district. And then a habitation district. So we now have medium fleet centralization. I need to go down about 400. I have 2 raiding fleets that can go away. And Manticore Defenders needs to return home. Alright, so let's take the Marauders. Disband this fleet. And the Corsairs. And disband this fleet. There we go. I'm still using 95% of my fleet capacity. And we now have access to a Federation fleet. 400 capacity for it. Now, if I go to laws, Federation fleet construction is currently only the leader. I could switch it to everyone. That would allow them to build the ships for it. I wouldn't have as much control over the design, but they would be the ones using the resources to do it. They're all going to vote yes on it. I'll let them build the ships for me, and I'll build some. Let's see, Federation fleet-wise. Oh, I'm 2 Titans over now. Ooh, yeah, I do need to up my naval capacity then. What does that do to my Titans? It doesn't... Does it increase the cost of them, or just kind of not built to replace them? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, we will turn out some Federation ships. So let's go to our mega shipyard. Now we have 20 shipyards here, and I want to turn out some Federation ships. And I know they're not really going to do the destroyers much, so I'm going to turn out 10 destroyers. Yeah, I just went through and counted it. And for my next 10 ships, I think I am going to go with cruisers, possibly. Or better yet, I will go with the battleship. Well, they're going to probably... yeah, because that's the more expensive one, and I can afford it more than they can. Let's build 5 battleships, 5 cruisers. Now, does it already show up the queued ships? Yes, it has already taken up the capacity. Well, the Union of Fadima, the Hazar Assembly, the Fire Tribes of Kel, the Pirac, the Alvathari, the Uko-Praknar, the Awoken, the Ligabrian States, the Ubrik, and the Visari all have Entente coordination, which means they went the Federation route, diplomacy route, because that is how you get it. So I do know from just seeing those modifiers that they all went through diplomacy. The Garanshu entered into a commercial pact with the Ligabrian States. And they have voted to allow everyone to construct the Federation fleet. Let's see how quickly it takes them to start churning out ships for it. Ah, yes, it's starting to fill up with their numbers. So they are generating ships. They haven't currently churned any out, I don't think. No, I'm not seeing any fleets here that I would control. So it took them a little over a month to start contributing. And there are so many Federation members that will fill up extremely quick. Oh, Second Fleet is finally turned out. We need to rename that. Wrong Second Fleet. Now, Federation fleets do not have a command limit. Now, I should have a spare leader or 2. And I am going to want 2 separate Federation fleets. So we are going to rename this fleet to Technologist Fleet Alpha. And eventually we'll get a second fleet that will be Technologist Fleet Beta. Oh, and I should have a colony ship that needs to be relocated to Fagahinajad. Oh, looks like the Pirac just had a rebellion on the majority of their systems. Good Lord. Now, unfortunately, when I go to war with them, it will turn these back it'll make these into my systems. I'm going to have to end up trading them all back to the Pirac, because this absolutely gutted the Pirac. They have 7 colonies left? Or 7 systems with colonies. Some of these may have multiple colonies. The Robot Union has declared war on them. They are a theocratic republic. Part of the problem is going to be that the Pirac... I wonder if that dropped down any of the contribution. Well, we're almost to cap. Look at all of those Federation fleets. They all just got like 1 or 2 ships. They did build some destroyers and corvettes for me. I'm actually surprised. I figured they would build the larger ships only, but they are still generating the destroyers and the corvettes. So I'm glad I went with some of the bigger ships. So yeah, the Pirac just got gutted by this rebellion. And of course, if we achieve our war goals, they will become a subject of me, which means this territory will be claimed as mine, which is not what I want. What I would like is for my assistants to return them to belonging to the Pirac. But I'm going to have to do that manually. So we are at war. I need to mobilize some fleets. Oh, look at all these fleets here. Yeah, if we look at these ships, they're all coming in to merge with my fleet or get near my fleet. But yeah, each one of these ships... No, it looks like they're using my... Yeah, they are using my Federation designs, or these guys are using the same. But usually, they use the designs of whoever built them. Now, they are using the names of whoever built them. I guess they changed it where it's more unified design. I can deal with that. I did kind of think it was neat seeing the different Empire ships, but it looks like they're all my class. So I was mistaken about that. That must have changed since originally. Of course, it may have had to do with who designed them. I think if you leave it on auto best, it may turn out looking like that. Or it may be whoever is president at the time chooses the ship designs. Since I manually created some, that may be what caused it. Now I'm curious if they're using my designs. Let's have a look. Yep, they are using the Scorpion class corvette. And we do have the Scourge missiles on there. So these are going to be kind of nasty for the Federation. After all the fleets get here, I'll probably have them merge up. Let's see if I can select them all. Oh, they are automatically merging. But yeah, we will send the Federation fleet. Well, we'll leave it here until it builds to capacity. And I will use my fleets to push through here and take out some of the Robot Union stuff. So we will start with the Manticores. Now let's see what sort of defenses we're looking at here. 14k. First and second. Now I believe they have L gates, don't they? Just regular gateways for now. Do any of our remaining systems... Hazar has... Okay, we will move first and second to Hazar. Third and fourth. We will move to Gendix. And fifth and sixth, we will have go into Nakanda with the... Now, right now, it's showing that I'll be using the gateway. I advance it a day, it'll reroute. Because that will cease to be our gateway. See, boom. Now we get to see their fleet size, at least. 526k. Okay, hitting their death stack here is going to be ugly. I would have to amass all of my fleets to be able to handle that. We have lost connection. No, yeah, we're no longer connected to the Pirac because I believe their capital is probably entrenched in one of these systems. It's over here. It probably moved over there. It probably was in Pirazar. Well, this is not good. It appears they decided to send this death ball of a fleet over my direction. That is a lot of battleships piled into one freaking fleet. But yeah, they are on their way through the gateway. I don't know where they're going, but it looked like they were originally going to Gorham. They can pop up anywhere in their territory through that gateway. Let's see. Yeah, there are gateways all over the place here. They can go to Obrirum, Isle. They were here, so what was the point? Or where are they? Are they coming out of the gateway? Or going to it? I think they're coming out of it. So I decided to have my fleets merge here. This is a 160k station, and I have about 300k in fleets, so that's pretty close to 500k. And it'll only take about 2 months for the Great Reformer and the Manticore Defenders to merge here in Gorham. Once I get all of them here, I will definitely have sufficient fleet power, because Manticore Defenders are 300k by themselves. So the Manticore Defenders plus my 2 fleets would be equivalent to them, although I believe my technology is going to be higher, so I will handle the fight better. It's going to take a while for the Federation fleet to get built up. And I do have these raiders I could also send. As a matter of fact, we could try... They're in Caravan Station. We could try catapulting them to their back lines. Let's actually catapult over here, if we can. Yeah, we'll do Eurus. Because that would end us up in any of these systems here, and we have a good chance to come over here and start sweeping through outposts with them. Yeah, I think they just came out of the gateway, so let's see which direction they head. Looks like they are currently going to their star base there. That's going to be a tough nut to crack. Council election is imminent. Well, let's see. Who's going to get voted? Is it going to be me or me? Just dismiss that. I don't care at this point. I gave 8,000 minerals to the Ubarg regime. I don't have any actual trades out. They're all gifts. 6,000 minerals and 7,000 food to the Visari.
Engaging hostile station.
Now, I did decide to have my fleet start pushing in. And I don't know why first and second didn't go in this way. I guess because they were at the gateway, this gateway was closer to that location. Let's see. This is going to be a little bit laggy because there's a lot of fleets in here. I don't see how that was closer than that. That made no sense in the pathing. I mean, that was a short hop to that connection to come in this way. I don't understand that. Let's have a quick look and see which way they're headed. Looks like they are headed in to here. So we will probably end up smacking them from behind when I get all of my fleets present. Just one of my fleets is severely overmatching this. It's only about 14k. Hopefully I won't suffer too many casualties with these bases, because I do have a huge amount of Titans and such. And, well, actually, it looks like the Fire Tribes of Kel and the Urzo are leading the charge anyway. We gave 9,000 minerals to the citizen state of Azuk and 4,000 alloys to the Uko Praknar. Oh, the Racket have come back into our space. If we give them 4,000 food, they'll give us 2,000 minerals. Yes. I generate more food than minerals. Alright, this system has flipped. And I don't even think... Well, we're still working on an orbital ring. No damage to our fleets. They didn't even do shield damage. We didn't end up shooting anything down. Alright, so I think we are actually going to sweep through here to cut off this gateway. Looks like they took Erderlang. So we will actually change our mind and go hit Savik. That'll cut off another system of theirs. They're pushing on through. We're still waiting for the Manticore defenders. They're still in the Sol system. We gave 6,000 alloys to the Fellowship of Yelion 4. We have reconnected with the Pirac. We gave 5,000 food to the Sondrathan. Manticore defenders have finally made it into this territory. So what we will do is have 5th and 6th follow the Manticore defenders. Will you allow me to deselect the fleet? Thank you. We'll follow the Manticore defenders, and we will have the Manticore defenders push on to take this system. They've already pushed through. They're overmatched, I believe. Their battle group is only 369k now. What? Did they split it up? It was 500k. So that is 100k and 130k. It's fairly close. That battle is going to take a while. I will have time to push through here with my fleets and catch them from behind. And I think we will redirect the Great Reformer to go there and come in from this way, because it can handle outposts as well. Fourth Fleet took an outpost. We have debris already. Enderlang. That is probably going to end up being a troop transport. I do have the Marco Polo stationed here in Sol. It's just around one of the... Actually, it's around Earth. So yeah, that is the one we will use. And just go ahead and tell it to scavenge the projects there. The League of Brian States did something. I'm not sure what. Took a planet, maybe? I see... No? I'm not sure. I guess they had the combat or something. But it was showing them on the right side, which is weird. Yeah, when they win a battle, we're seeing it on the right side. Odd. And we do have more debris there. I'm in no particular rush for it. We ended up jumping into Chi Draconis and immediately flipped that system. I believe our raiders can handle this one. We actually got a combat pop-up here for the Citadel. They've done some shield damage, they've done some armor and some hull now. We did not lose a ship, though, but we flipped this system pretty quickly. We will go back to Chort for repairs. And actually, let's go ahead and have Second Fleet go here as well, even though they don't need repairs. Yeah, no losses, but we did take some armor damage. We'll get that ship flipped up. Pirac declared the Robot Union their rival. Well, yeah, they just gutted your empire. Now, I could, when this rolls around, the battle ends, go ahead and take over control of these systems and keep them, because they would be somewhat consecutive to my empire. I could keep the cluster of... Well, actually, I could keep Nakonda and get rid of all... transfer all these others for now, and just slowly, as they suffer rebellions, take over the area. But I really don't want to manage more territory at this point. Although managing more territory is something that would give me something to do, it is going to slow down the progress of the game. And this is a game I pretty much consider to have won for the most part score-wise. I don't need to conquer the remaining empires. What I need is to get egalitarianism spread. Now, I think that is part of the problem with the Pirac, is they are an autocracy. That is the reason they are suffering these rebellions and such, because they have not embraced democracy yet. Whereas this poor Robot Union, they are a theocratic republic. I actually think they would be better off if they weren't spiritualist. And we do have a bunch of fleets in combat. And we are suffering damages here. Yeah, some pretty big damages from neutron launchers and disruptors. Matter of fact, I can tell right now we've lost ships because the count is down. It actually looks like we're down 20 destroyers already. And we haven't even started working on the hull too much on some of these things. It does say we have done 1,000 damage to hull. Did we already flip a orbital ring somewhere? I'm not seeing anything here that's taken hull damage. That one's at full hull. That one's at full hull. Oh, we took out defense platforms. That's what it was. They had defense platforms here. So we have combat in Akulum, in Pirazor, in Nakonda. Now, Nakonda, we've already been hitting their shields, and they have done no damage to us yet. We've actually got their armor halfway down. It would appear that they contributed larger ships as well. Now, we contributed 10 destroyers and ended up with only 27. We contributed no corvettes and ended up with 42. We contributed 5 cruisers and have ended up with 17 so far. And there are 8 more en route, so that'll give us 25. And we contributed the 5 battleships. These 8 more would be another 32. That's not going to get us up to 400, so that means that they are contributing battleships and potentially Titans. This fight hasn't been going well for them. Yeah, they don't have shields. Nobody has shields. This must be a system that nullifies shields. It is. But they are listed as outmatched. We shall see, because as soon as I flip this, I can push on through. The Pirac built a gateway in Yamak Singularity. That must be one of their territories over here, possibly. Right there. I didn't even check to see if the areas over here rebelled. Yeah, they did manage to keep that one. We did suffer some hull damage, but no losses with the Manticore defenders. I think we will enter orbit here to repair a little bit. Actually, no, we're not showing us. The only one who took damage was 6th Fleet. So yeah, let's have 5th Fleet go ahead and follow the Manticore defenders and send the Manticore defenders on to here to assist in the battle. We'll actually go after their fleet directly. This has a fairly small garrison, so let's go ahead and send one of our transport fleets to land on it. And this one has a larger garrison. Actually, let's send the bigger transport fleet to go ahead and land on that one. We'll suffer some losses, probably. It is a habitat, so they can only field, I think, like 6 to 8 at a time. It might be... I wish you could see the battlefield size ahead of time. This, I don't really see where this lists where you would get a battlefield width. And we did suffer some damage taking Pirac Station. We took out 4 of the defense platforms. We also suffered some losses. 10 destroyers and a corvette. So we are going to enter orbit here and reinforce the fleet. And I can go ahead and mobilize a few more of my scientists. Basically, any of these at the bottom should be eligible. They should be. Let's double check them though. So these 4 are eligible to go salvage debris. So we'll send 1 to Pirac. 1 here. And that looks like the extent of my debris right now. Yeah, they've got about half their strength, unfortunately. But as soon as the raiders are done, it looks like they have taken no damage. No, they did take damage. Alright, we will have the raiders repair. Because I want to cut down on ship losses by not rushing in without repairing. They're doing a good job of sweeping all of the systems. Hithian has declared the Commonwealth of Man their rival. And it looks like they finally pushed out those others. And it looks like they're headed out that way. Or is that where they were last fighting? Yeah, that's where they were last fighting. I think they're going to go into the planet. Or bombard the planet. We have connected to their capital.
Engaging hostile forces.
And we have lost contact with our operatives in Commonwealth of Man. Go ahead and find them. 5th Fleet is in combat. and our fleets have made it in. So we should end up engaging their battle group before they can do much bombardment. Where is 5th Fleet in combat? Oh, 5th Fleet is the one following Manticores. They just engage at a farther distance than the Manticores do.
Our forces are making planetfall.
That's the reason their combat value dropped so much, because they came into a system that nullified shields, and shields do count toward your combat value. Width here is 9, but this is a planet. I expect the width on the habitat is probably going to be 6 at most.
Our forces are making planetfall.
Yes, it's only 6. So we will suffer some losses in our mech warriors and mercenary armies, but once our Cybrex get in here, we should plow through their reserves fairly quickly. They're already down 6 battleships. They had 51 originally. We just took out 2 more. First Fleet is fully repaired. So we will have 1st and 2nd push on somewhere. Well, they're doing a good job of sweeping all of the systems. I'm not sure where to send them. Let's see, was that their capital? Where was their capital? We're looking for the gold color. One way to find out. There is their capital. We will send 1st and 2nd to their capital region, because that's where their fleets will reappear when they flee, and we want them there to engage them. This battle is going poorly for them. We are suffering some losses, though. We've gained a favor with the citizen state of Azuk.
War report. Enemy planet secured.
And I do not remember how many ships were in this fleet. This one is only partially occupied. 300. 300. This is where we will send them. And we can pop right over there with the gateway. We reestablish contact with our operatives. They fled, I think. They lost almost half their destroyers, almost half their corvettes, over half of their cruisers, but a small fraction of battleships. We lost a lot of corvettes as well. We lost more corvettes than they did. We did not lose as many destroyers as they did. We lost a lot more cruisers than they did, and we lost a lot of battleships. That's a huge setback. That's going to be a lot more loss for us than them. War attrition, basically. It actually wasn't. We lost 40 ships, they lost 0. Odd. And that does include me. They lost 154 ships to another engagement in the same system. We lost 16, we lost 77, but overall their war exhaustion was a lot higher, because not only did they lose ships, On this one, they lost a lot of ships. On this one, they lost the battle. So we will send our fleets to repair at in this system where they will pop back up and start reinforcing. That's going to take a lot to reinforce. And once again, I forgot to make sure I knew the numbers of contractors and stuff I have. Let's see, I have 6 contractors and 9 military contractors. Let's see if I can actually find the ground battle I had. It says I lost 6 armies and they only lost 3. Now I have noticed that sometimes these numbers are wrong. In one of that test game I was playing, I had a fight where they lost 2 ships and I lost none. And when I looked on this, it said that we lost 2 ships, they lost none. And I was like, they had more exhaustion though. And I was looking at it going, no, I didn't lose that many ships. I didn't lose any ships. They lost 2, a corvette and a destroyer. I lost nothing. So it might be that these numbers are a little bit backwards, but these are accurate. 168 lost on their side. 202 lost on our side, because we did suffer some heavy losses. My ships are fairly heavy on shields, so going into a system where my shields are nullified really nerfs my ships. And we'll go ahead and have 6th Fleet finish repairing over here as well, because this is where they're going to keep popping back up. And I think we'll send 3rd and 4th there as well. The Raiders do need to repair. I should have had them in orbit of the station, not the planet. Yeah, we have some battleships on the way. 2 have already made it, and there are 5 more, so that's going to be a total of 6 battleships that they had, or 7 battleships that they had given to us. Now that's 6 more on the way. So that will be 8 battleships they granted us. That's still not going to equal 400. Because 6 battleships would be 48. That would make it 52, which would make it 312, which is not quite equal to that. So I'm wondering what the remaining ships are. Are they sending multiple Titans here? All right, 596 is what we're currently at here. Sonderthin was given association status by the Cosmic Defense Force.
Interstellar debris analyzed.
We got 140 alloys for destroying those. We didn't get any, I just noticed we didn't get any debris in Tetris. We got 140 alloys for clearing that out. Now we do have debris over there, but somebody is checking for it. So we go ahead and start sending our ships back. We should probably queue them up to go back after they finish their current orders. There's obviously a second debris there. When I finish that one, I'll queue up for him to search that other one. And I became the new council.
Our forces are making planetfall.
Oh, we have 4 warforms in that fight. It's going to be quick. We've lost one of our mercenary contractors, but we've got a warform in the fight finally.
Research concluded.
We have completed applied superconductivity 18 for energy credits from jobs, and are now working on focusing arrays 20 for energy weapon damage.
War report. Enemy planet secured.
So we can go ahead and secure the other planet in this system. Has similar garrison. Then we just have a few systems to sweep back through. Looks like they are also taking planets over here. They fully captured that one. They have troops going into Tosiad. Alright, we got the one in Pirac. Got nearly... well, got 800 alloys out of it. Let's queue this guy up to scavenge that before he heads back.
Interstellar debris analyzed.
And we have 2 warforms in the battle now. In Tosiad, we only got about just under 300 alloys. Now, I did see another one pop up over here, so we will have him jump over here and scavenge those first. We're getting little pop-ups for them taking systems for us. Pretty much all the systems are fully controlled. It says we don't have occupied systems. Those are the ones we partially occupy.
Our forces are making planetfall.
He's actually made it to max level. He's level 10. Overall, that effect gives 50% army damage.
War report. Enemy planet secured.
Alright, I believe we're going to hop over here. That's a 4K. No, we're not going to hop to that one just yet. Let's check Pirac. 2K. That one's weak. That one's weak. That's almost 2K. That one's weak. So there are 3 we can pop over here and flip real quick. This one, Sisk in Atab, and Pirac. Another one where they took something. Tillinesti have opened borders with us. We have reconnected to the Tillinesti because they have opened their borders. And yeah, we have knocked this garrison down quite a bit. We've taken probably about half their reserves out. And as we lose more of the contractors and just have more of the war forms here in battle, this is going to go by a lot faster. I think as these armies drop, I will just end up outfitting them entirely with war forms. I think I'm going to get them each up to like 12 war forms. And that's something I should probably be doing at peacetime, is building up the war forms in those armies. There's a second one there. So as soon as he finishes the first debris, I've got another to salvage. And you know what? The Great Reformer, I don't think it's going to be needed here. Well, no, that's not true. There was a planet that had a huge garrison in Isle. Let's check Akelum. Oh no, that one's almost bombarded down. Yeah, that has about a 4K. That one's only about 2K left. Yeah, I think they've got enough fleets here to handle this. I think I will send the Great Reformer back to... Well, it is building battleships. It's about 2 months out from building reinforcements for somebody. 5th Fleet? So we will move it to Akelum so that those ships will not have travel time, basically.
Our forces are making planetfall.
That should be a quick one. That one had less than 100, I think. 3rd warform has joined this battle. I thought that was going to be a quick one. Yeah, it's just about over. Yvzorak declared us a rival. Can I return the favor? You're inferior instead of pathetic now. We have a rival again. Yeah, their fleet jumped back in here, which is very unfortunate for them. That is not going to last long. We suffered no damage. Took out one more of their destroyers and two more of their cruisers. Their battleships and corvettes must have immediately fled. So yeah, that was a quick fight for them. They ran into combat and immediately their hull took a little bit of damage and caused them to flee. Commonwealth of Man built a gateway. Yeah, this one's almost over. Pirac was at 800. That one's at 100. So after we get off of this one, we will go over and hit that one.
War report. Enemy planet secured. Interstellar debris analyzed.
That was the one in Pirac. It was another 450. We didn't get any in Akalum.
Our forces are making planetfall.
Tilinesti closed their borders to us again. We're going to lose connection with their capital. United Ubrik closed borders. Commonwealth of Man broke their migration treaty. Citizen State of Azuk, I right-clicked on that before I saw if it was a gateway or something else. This robot union has become more materialist. Yeah, I figured they were going to have too many pops that shared the Pirac's faction to be able to stay with it.
War report. Enemy planet secured.
Alright, we will push on to take Pirac. This fight is all but over.
Interstellar debris analyzed.
Alright, that should be the one in Isle. 48 alloys. There's one more here in Isle we need to scavenge. And I should check these fleets that are listed as idle. They're not repairing, they're just kind of doing nothing. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure none of them needed to repair. Because they did not return to orbit of the starbase after the combat. And we did end up capping on consumer goods. One of our politicians on Earth has carelessly misplaced a bundle of sensitive materials, including an encryption key whose very existence outside our government facilities is a gross breach of protocol. Our domestic authorities are scrambling to switch security platforms, as it is quite possible these materials may have fallen into hostile hands. Alright, so we'd have -2 encryption for a year, or I could have -2 encryption for 5 months and demote a politician on our capital. And it also costs me money to do that. But I'm just going to say accidents happen. People make mistakes. Senate is now in session for Reverence for Life. Oh, I forgot. I've got a lot of stuff saved up. I need to veto this one. And next month I'll be able to start on a habitat. Alright, this one is going to pass. So there's not really much I need to do about it. And this will be span purging and world crackers. I really don't care about those. I noticed they had retaken Tethys. So I'm sending the raiders in to deal with that. Hopefully one of my allies will sweep through there, but they're still working on planets, actually. Also, I've got quite a few trade deals out. Now, a lot of them were gifts, but I had actually one good trade deal out, and I decided to give gifts to a couple of the people who really don't like me, and the gifts I'm giving them are monthly resources because those are the only thing that have value to them, and I have a huge surplus of both food and energy credits. I can spare some.
Our forces are making planetfall.
This will be a little bit of a tough fight, but we did start with 4 war forms. We may lose a few units, but we should end up doing it. We gave 4,000 minerals to the citizen state of Hazuk. 3,000 minerals to the Ubaric regime. For the next 10 years, we are giving 1,500 monthly food to the Commonwealth of Man. That was a plus 100 trade deal for them. So it should boost them up to having the maximum for favorable trade deal, which will boost our reputation up. And I had also re-offered the migration treaty. I probably should have done this one first, because I ended up using most of the favors we had with them. I currently had capped favors with them, but I think I ended up using 8 to get them to agree to the deal. This is the one major trade I had. I don't know what the Fellowship of Yilion 4 just did, but they could use a lot of materials. 16,000 minerals, 14,000 food, 12,000 consumer goods, and 20,000 alloys. And out of this we got 400 motes, 400 gases, and 200 rare crystals. That also reminds me, have our fleets... Yes, this fleet is finally fully merged. And no, it does not have any Titans. It is 18 battleships, 28 cruisers, 27 destroyers, and 42 corvettes. So if we had not done our contribution, it would be 13 battleships, 23 cruisers, 17 destroyers, and 42 corvettes. So they did a decent mix of ships. And we do now have this fleet to be able to order around. What is that? That is the Raiders? Forget the Raiders. We are going to hotkey... Not the Raiders. I hit the wrong key when I was trying to create the hotkey. We are going to hotkey our Federation fleet. Now this is a mammoth of a fleet. We could actually split it into 2. But I think I'm going to keep it as one big fleet because that is a nice firepower level. And right now, we are going to park them in terminal egress. No, we'll make their home where our interstellar assembly is, which is Earth. So we will set them to Sol Station and tell them to return home. Now, I don't believe you actually pay maintenance on a Federation fleet. Normally, if you mouse over here, it will show what your maintenance cost is. Like if I went to one of my fleets, upkeep, 24 energy credits and about 5 alloys. No upkeep listed whatsoever for Federation fleet. They also do not add to your naval capacity. My naval capacity is down right now. My ships are being reinforced. They're just kind of slow to get the reinforcements. Some are still in transit. We're giving 5,700 monthly energy credits to the Tillinesti. That is another one that would count as a plus 100 favorable trade. So we can reestablish our embassy. Acceptance for these other things are kind of low. I doubt we will get a research agreement, but it's possible. I don't think I have enough favors with them currently. I've only got 2, and it's a minus 100. But that's mainly because of the other research agreements they have. Now, what I would really like is to get them to drop other research agreements for mine. That way, I'm tying up their influence doing research agreements with me instead of sharing with other people who might potentially be enemies, like, say, the Ivzorak. This fight is all but over. We have renewed our migration treaty with the Commonwealth of Man. They're back to being a military dictatorship, and I'm trying to shift them away into egalitarianism.
War report. Enemy planet secured.
Alright, we finally flipped Nakanda. Akulum. That one's 1,300. Let's check and see if we've got any others that are low. They've got fleets in this system. That one's fairly low. How big is that fleet? Oh, that's only 56. This one is completely flipped. Savik. They've been bombarding that one a while too, I think. Okay, we'll go free up the fleets that are there. So we will send the Nakanda fleet to Savik. To take this planet. We gave 7,000 minerals and 7,000 food to the Visari. We've gotten a favor with the Ivzorak. And I can start on another habitat. And I do need to work on my refineries, but I have another system that is working on refineries first. That is this one. It's about to get the second refinery. I'd kind of like them to alternate, go back to alternating instead of having a cluster of like chemical refineries or rare crystals all in a row in my colonies. Now, one thing you can do with the new... you can actually change the order of your planets here. That is one nice feature that I had not really been making use of, but the changes they have made to the outliner are really good with the latest update. Let's see, change the order of my planets. Let's do them by designation. Rather than the other order. See, we could do them by distance. We could do them by name. We could do them by pops, planet class, or designation. And I think we'll go with designation. And let's see, does that change the order that I get them here? Yes. Maybe not. Urban. Yes, it does change the order that I get them here. So all of my refineries will end up being in the back. And I could go through, one thing you can go through here in the outliner is manually shift them around. So I could make it to where when I come down here to where the ones like Pandora and such are. Let's just go to my refinery stations. La Isabella, for example. If I go down here to where La Isabella is, I can see where these are on the list as I go through and get them in the order I want so that it goes motes, crystal, gases, and alternates like that. Or I could just go back to doing them by distance, and that will get them system by system for the most part. But yeah, I do kind of like designation. It makes it a little bit easier for me to flip through them and see what planets need to be changed. So we'll do that for my next run through. But yeah, we had just built an exotic gas refinery. So this one would be a moat refinery, and that one will be crystals. So yeah, that is one that we want to build. And after it gets that, it will be the next one to do a refinery. Diab is over minerals, so yeah, we'll do that. We'll get another mining one set up. Now, as you see, I'm up to almost 2,500 minerals a month surplus, and that is with, here on one of my early planets, I ended up shifting all the mining over to commercial goods or consumer goods. That's the reason I ended up capping on consumer goods. I was in the process of getting rid of all of the mining districts, temporary mining districts on that world, so that ended up taking a lot of my minerals out, but I still have a decent surplus, and I only have one more planet to shift off of mining that was a temporary mining. So building this extra mining habitat will allow me to do that and stay at a decent surplus. Now I wish they would allow you to reorder ships and reorder military fleets, so I could get first, second, third, fourth, and fifth in the order I want them. The Raiders will probably take some damage doing this, but I believe they should be able to handle it. They're going to ignore the armor pretty much entirely. Yeah, they lost a couple of ships already, corvettes. But this system got to be flipped back. We will send them back here to repair. Though they do have some orbital rings to flip. We have established an embassy back with the Tillinesti and given 1,000 consumer goods to the Sonderthan. Oddly enough, just 1,000 consumer goods is like 3 relation with them. So I think that may have been the problem here in this system, is we probably didn't end up flipping all of the orbital rings, and that is what created the issue. Alright, let's reinforce them. Jean Moreau finally died at the age of 212. If you recall, that was the governor I kept shifting around all over the place. I think he's been the governor of almost every sector we've ever had. Now, losing a high-level governor is going to impact my empire size. You see it's going from 3912 to 4134. That is a huge jump. That's about over 200 points in empire size, because that governor was very effective at reducing the effect of his planet. Let's see, this guy does minerals and energy credits. Unity from bureaucrats. If I recall, Earth has some bureaucrats on it. Now the Sol sector, that's minerals and unity, and that's just building stuff. Let's close that out real quick. The Sol sector doesn't cover any of my research worlds except for Cybrex Alpha. Now that's a big one. Yeah, I would like a research person here, because that is, Cybrex is my research ring world. Alright, let's recruit a unifier, I guess. And Hope Eustace. He also does a little bit of minerals. Let's hope Eustace ends up picking up intellectual. Now I do have an intellectual in terminal egress. I could move Governor Dulava here. Which system has my unification station? Mars is a unification center. That is Friaka. Friaka also has 2 of my science worlds. And Friaka currently has righteous, minerals, and agriculture. Actually, let's put Lacoric in Earth. And we will put this unifier in Friaka, I think. Or I guess it would be Trimus. What the hell does Trimus have? Trimus has my trade center. It doesn't matter where I stick them. Having a low-level governor is going to have a bad impact. Yilon is the one that would have probably the least. Alright, let's go back to planets and sectors. Let's just look at it this way. Which one is providing the most unity? It looks like Efrov. Nope, I didn't even see the thousands. Friaka, Trimus actually is providing the most. So we will assign our new governor to Trimus. And the Sol sector, if we look at research, actually, Earth was providing the most unity. But it is also providing the most research. Now the one we have free is not the researcher. So we want to take the one that's in terminal egress for Earth to boost my research output. Although I really don't need to boost my research output so much. But he is also one of my highest level governors, and I need the most reduction in Earth. And we will just stick this remaining governor, who does minerals. I do have a lot of mining habitats out there in terminal egress sector. Yeah, we ended up losing 3 corvettes and a battleship, but we ended up flipping all of these. Now, if we look at what our impact is, we did end up getting a low-level governor, which kind of sucks. Yeah, we're going up about 30 less than we were, so it ends up being 180 increase instead of over 200. So that's not too bad. We did shuffle around to get a nice high-level governor in Sol sector and all of that. And it will impact our economy slightly, because governors also have an effect on everything. Let's see. Resources from jobs, empire size from pops, and crime. So crime is not an issue in my empire. Just about every place I look is going to say no crime. What we have is the empire size from pops and the resources from jobs are the 2 most impactful. So your low-level governors, you kind of want to stick in areas that have the least impact on that. The ones that have the lowest pops and the lowest resource output. So actually, Yilon would be a great place to stick new governors, because it is probably one of my smallest sectors. If I look at my sectors, actually, I mean, my smallest sector is actually the Ponel sector. So yeah, Ponel would be the place to stick a brand new governor. This governor's level 9. She has agrarian upbringing. Now, unfortunately, this is I really don't care at this point. I generate enough food. So let's see. Ponel would be the place to stick the lowest level governor. And that means Trimus can get her. And now my impact is just 50 because I've got a high-level governor in Trimus, which was one of my higher population sectors. And it probably won't have a substantial impact on my economy because my economy is huge surplus anyway. However, that resources from jobs does affect your strategic resource locations. If we look at the specialist here, who are gas refiners, governor bonus 18%. And she is 18% resources from jobs. So if I were to go to a sector that had a lot of habitats that were providing my strategic resources would be impacted. Now, eventually, a good thing to do is to replace them with governors that don't die of old age, such as synthetics. But I'm not that worried about it, honestly, in this game.
Research concluded.
We have completed aggressive conditioning 8 for army damage and are now working on aggressive conditioning 9 for more army damage, which while we are stomping stuff with our armies, that's a good one to have knocked out.
Our forces are making planetfall.
Speaking of our armies smacking things, looks like we immediately took that planet. What do we have left in Pirac? That one's got 16 or 17,000. So does that one. We'll let them bombard a little longer and see what else we can jump over to. I have sent somebody to the Sabic sector. That basically leaves Akulum, Tosiad, and Isle. Isle has 4K. Tosiad has 200. We're heading there. And Akulum has 13K. And it doesn't look like, it looks like they're on their way to bombard it. So it looks like the only ones left have a large number of defenders, so those fights are going to go a little slow.
Interstellar debris analyzed.
That was our last debris. 50 alloys out
Construction
of it.
completed.
Barnard Star has finished its construction queue. I had just shifted over from the mineral mining plants to have a transit hub here, because Barnard Star does not have a star base in the sector. And this is the planet. It's got less than 3 months before the final mining district becomes an industrial district and boosts my consumer goods output. I ended up spending a lot more time than I should have reorganizing my planets. I went to this sector and I made use of all of the buttons basically, and I was going through picking like my capital. I did by designation first, I believe. And then I clicked on distance, and it actually kept them a little bit by designation by sector or by system. So it has all of the planets in the Sol system, and they were organized by that route. And then it started going on distance from Earth, but the next one it did was actually Asgard, which is not the closest to Earth. Terminal egress is closer. Actually, no, because it's an L gate. The closest would have been another system with a gateway, or another system with a hyperlane connection, but Asgard was way the hell away. But I ended up organizing them by sector, and using, I would adjust one up or down, and once it's highlighted blue, I could move another right underneath it by saying follow the last moved element. And I got them organized the way I want it, so basically I can go through all of the stuff in Sol, and then it moves on to Sugalia, which is, I believe, the next sector in my list. And then I actually got Efrov, even though it is not next sector in my list because it's attached to Sugalia. And then I jumped over to Friaka, which was the next adjoining sector. And from it, I got Panel and Yilon. And then I went to Trimus. And finally, from Trimus, I went to Terminal Egress. So these are all organized by system. So like the first few are all going to be the ones in the same system as Earth. And then when I get to the next one from here, it jumps to another system. Go to. Yeah, it jumped to Alpha Centauri. And it did all of the ones in Alpha Centauri. And then it went to where Storm was pretty much by itself. And basically it jumps around and I have them all by system, so I can kind of plan them out. And they went by systems closest to Earth for the most part. Going to Caravan next, and then to like Cybrex Alpha and Breglar, and moving down this way to eventually get to Banus before moving on into Sugalia. But I wanted the first one in every sector to be the capital. So the first one here is Nueva Cadiz, just like here. So if I click here, I can go through the entire Sugalia sector before it gets to Efrov and then Friaka. Yeah, if I wanted to start with Blizzard, if I go back, it's in the Friaka sector, but I can get all of the Panel sector right there. But yeah, I spent a lot of time reordering planets before I went through with my regular maintenance, but that's actually something I will have to micromanage. As I build new ones, they will probably pop up at the bottom of the list, so I'll have to move them to be in the same area as their systems. But that does mean I can go through these systems and see, like, this is Sol, and I can see that it has one of each refiner. And if I go to some of these others, I see that this particular one only has a synthetic crystal plant, which is right here in Alpha Centauri, which means I need to get the other two up and running. So I'm actually moving him over to where he will do the volatile motes and then the exotic gases up here at Alpha Centauri 6. So I can go ahead and get my my groups of 3 refiners all together.
War report. Enemy planet secured.
So we have flipped another system. The Sabic system is now fully controlled. That leaves Pirazur, which has 2 2K places. Iol, which has the biggest one at almost 4K. Tosiad, which I already have one en route to. It's down to 100 something. And Akalum, which has 1 planet left that has about 1,300, which is actually the lowest one now. So I believe that is where we are headed. Well, that's right. You've got to get it within the borders to be able to right-click. And after we get that one, that'll leave Tosiad, Iol, and Pirazur. Well, Tosiad is about to fall, so we'll probably move this fleet over to Pirazur, and get one of the 2 planets there. This one will probably move up and get the second one, and then finally we will take Iol. Hopefully it will be bombarded down by then.
Our forces are making planetfall. War report. Enemy planet secured.
So that was a quick fight there. We'll go to the one that's being bombarded. I believe it has less. At 1739 compared to... Nope, this one actually has less. So we will actually go get this one. Let that one get a little bit more bombardment. And we just have a few planets left. And we may not need to take them all. We've got minus 200 for unoccupied systems and minus 400 for unoccupied planets. There's only 4 planets left to occupy. And each one should take off a little bit for the systems.
Our forces are making planetfall.
Now, if we can get our Cybrex in here on this habitat, it should go a lot faster because they won't have as many damaging us as we, or as much damage coming to us as we have damage going out. Of course, we still do a decent amount of damage to them. I mean, we're doing almost double their damage. Of course, we have a max level general. The raiders have finally repaired.
Our forces are making planetfall.
This one we started with at least 2 of the Cybrex warforms in here to begin with. Our regular assault armies actually do more damage than our robots at this point. They're not affected by morale damage though, so they will fight to the end. And we have a new proposal. Change the council size to 2. The Visari want to change it. League of Brian States would be the one who comes in here. Democracy is best in small doses. Well, I do support egalitarianism, so technically I should support this. The more people in charge of the committee, the more democratic it is, rather than it just being more autocratic with just me in charge. Although there is the point that I am sufficiently advanced above everybody else. I think my decisions actually matter more, and this will create problems, but I'm going to go ahead and support it. But I'm not going to make sure it passes or anything like that. I'll just say, okay, if you guys want to go back to 2, you're not happy with me being the sole leader, that's fine. I can still influence. I have enough to actually influence things the way I want. We have 2 warforms here now, so this should go a little faster. This one has a 3rd warform, so it'll go even faster. Four warforms. Now they granted us a small military fleet because we were suffering from losses, basically. So we were not at 95% of our capacity. The Awoken has started building a science nexus. It's about time. We might finish this one before this one unless another warform gets in here. Still not another warform there. But these 4 warforms are tearing through these guys pretty quickly. No, we will finish this one first. Tillinesti reopened their borders to us. Yeah, I don't think these 4 warforms will get rid of over 10. It would look like 11 before 2 warforms will get rid of 7 that are already pretty beat up. One of my warforms is actually pretty beat up. One of my warforms here is a little beat up as well. But yeah, we've gotten rid of all of their reserves. We've just got to beat down these 5. Whereas this still has 5 reserves. So yeah, we are going to finish the other one first. Just 2 left here. There's a few to whack over there, so it's not going to be too much further
Research
behind.
concluded.
We completed Thermodynamic Yield Control 8 for explosive weapon damage, and are now working on Synapse Interceptors 8 for strike craft damage.
War report. Enemy planet secured.
So we finished this world. We'll go here to Vermtberg. It still hasn't been bombarded too awfully much, but it has been bombarded. Oh, there was another planet here in Toizid, wasn't there? Yeah, it's only got 600. We'll go there. I had missed this planet here in Toizid. Didn't realize there were 2. And this one should be fairly quick. It's only got 600. Tazekian Hive built an interstellar assembly. League of Brian States declared
War
Zorak their
report.
rival.
Enemy planet secured.
So we've got one more planet in this system. We do have one of our warforms that was pretty beat up. Let's see, that one's missing a couple hundred. That one's almost under 3,000. That one's below half. I wonder how long it takes for them to heal up. Let's enter orbit over here and just keep an eye on this one and see how long it takes him to regen a little. Well, he regens a little over time.
Our forces are making planetfall.
Does he regen any faster when I get there? Doesn't appear to. Looks like he's still getting about 25 or so a day. But we'll let them heal up a little bit. This one did have one that was beat up, and unfortunately it entered it in the fight originally, but this fight shouldn't take that awful long. Tilinesti built an interstellar assembly. If Zorak declared League of Brian States their rival, when we get these other 2 planets, it should drop it down significantly. I want him to heal up completely before I do this invasion. He's healing pretty quickly. See, he's only down about 1,200. 1,200. Since we're not getting any extra healing by being in orbit of this, I think I'll go ahead and move in orbit of this. It'll only take 5 days. That won't be enough to heal him up to full. I'll probably wait till February, give him about 30 more days worth of healing or so, or I'll probably check him in a couple of weeks. I trimmed about 3,000 Edict Fund because I dropped Nutritional Plenitude. I no longer need Pop Growth Speed, and I don't really think I need just the 5% happiness. I also dropped capacity subsidies because I have a sufficient surplus of energy credits. I don't think I'm going to drop significantly by no longer running that. Same for farming subsidies. I am keeping mining subsidies for now because it also boosts strategic resource gatherer output. I also was still running Map to the Stars, and there's nothing left to survey. I don't need to worry about anomalies, and the ship hyperline detection range is kind of superfluous with having a sentry array. Other than that, I would like to run Grand Fleet to get my thing back up. I could basically compensate for that now, but I would like higher Unity for a bit. Eventually I'll be able to drop Omnifarious Acquisition. I will get my mineral output up high enough I don't need that boost. And I forgot to make sure I'm not going to cap. Yeah, it's definitely going to take at least a month to heal up there. Got a lot of trades that just popped through. Tezekian built another gateway. We gifted the Awoken with 3,000 alloys. Gifted the Visari with 6,000 minerals and 6,000 food. Gifted the Fellowship of Yelion with 7,000 alloys. Gifted the Citizen State of Azuk with 5,000 minerals, 4,000 food. And gifted the Alvathari with 5,000 alloys. Fagahinajed 2 habitat is available. This is going to be a volatile moat refinery. We'll call this one Torg Industries. Now I will need to reorder that because I believe the last one, it'll pop all the way down up at the bottom. Let's see. Oh, I haven't started colonizing it yet. So once it pops up and says colonization begun or whatever it is when I'll have to reorder it. Ubaric regime, we gifted them with 3,000 minerals and gave the Polysimus 3,000 alloys. Let's check and see how far we got in a month. Wrong fleet. Yeah, another month and I'll be up to full, I believe. So we'll start the invasion in March.
Colony establishment has begun.
There we go. Now I believe it's going to put all the way at the bottom. Yes. Now if I go to that one, it is with Nude Patel. So it should be right after New Batel and before ExxonMobil. And the easiest way to adjust this quickly is to shift whichever one you want it. Actually, it's New Batel I want it underneath. Let's do it this way. Up and then up. Shift the one you want it underneath last and then just say follow last moved. And it will jump it up there. Right after New Batel is now Torg Industries.
War report. Enemy planet secured.
So we have taken that planet. I will go ahead and move this fleet in orbit of this planet. It's still got close to 4,000, just in case we do need to take it. And this one should be fully healed up fairly soon. Lost contact with my operatives in Commonwealth of Man again. The lower your effective code breaking compared to their encryption, the more often you get those harmful pop-ups. So Commonwealth of Man is going to be a difficult one to do operations in. And I do have enough to do another habitat. Now my next bit of influence will be for something diplomatic, probably another spy assignment. Oh, and this fleet should be repaired by now. Yes. So let's go ahead and have them land. Can I do it from here? No. This one may be enough, because it'll probably drop 150 for an occupied planet and 50 for the system, because I will finally flip the next to last system. Their occupation will go up. Their war exhaustion can't go up anymore, neither can their relative navy strength. But the occupation, we will almost have them completely occupied. There'll just be one planet left. So we'll take about half of this value up. It should go from 69 to about 84. So that would be about another 15. Yeah, it's not going to be quite enough to push them all the way over the top, I think. I think they'll be like at negative 20 or negative 15. We probably will have to do that final invasion. Reestablish contact.
Our forces are making planetfall.
We got 4 of them in the initial. We should sweep through these guys fairly quickly. Thinning out a lot of the non-war forms really helps out. Although the non-war forms do serve as a little bit of cannon fodder for blasting through here, so the war forms aren't taking more punishment. And the others are a lot quicker to replace. They take about 3 months as opposed to a year and a half for the war forms. Union of Fedima built an interstellar assembly. We just blew up a Corvette that popped back up, took no damage doing it, and got some debris out of it. So we can send the Marco Polo over here to scavenge this project. United Ubric Pack reopened their borders. They'll probably turn around and close them again in a few months. Oh look, they closed their borders again. League of Phemisto declared Commonwealth of Man their rival. This fight is almost over. I believe this rebellion is just a regular rebellion for poor empire management, not a trigger like the mid-game AI uprising. But the sheer amount of synthetics we have and the amount of uprisings we have had involving robots, I suspect we're going to get the contingency as our end-game crisis.
War report. Enemy planet secured.
And let me guess, negative 11? Negative 4. Oh my god, seriously. They're at... Yeah. I'm going to have to take this last system. Well, I've been in orbit of it, so might as well land. This one's almost completely spent. It just has some war forms and a few others left. Let me send it back to Earth, and I will start building this one up. Let's go ahead and recruit 7 more Cybrex warforms. Hopefully I won't be at war until I get them all.
Our forces are making planetfall.
We have 3 warforms in the front line. That'll help.
Interstellar debris analyzed.
66 alloys out of that. They've got a lot of crime. And we may end up losing a warform in this army. Finally! We've got an espionage event. Now, since we've seen this one before, I'm just going to say commence operation when ready. And it will just, I think, give me pop-ups if there's anything I have to deal with. Otherwise, it will go all the way through to the final step before it lets me know.
A new world has been colonized.
we can take care of Fagahinajad on our routine maintenance. I know it's going to be a volatile mode facility. We gained a favor with the League of Brian States. Now, one thing I could do if I wanted to save my war form, if it looks like he's about to die, I could retreat, because I can handle the loss for battle, and I will have chopped out quite a few of their troops. I could pull back and let this unit heal, basically. But I'm really not that worried about it. I'd rather power through and end this war. I can replace a war form. And it looks like I'm going to have to. He did a number. I mean, we knocked them way down before we lost our first war form. And he immediately got replaced. They're working on another, but I have a feeling we will end this battle before they get him down. I got an operative spooked result because of our low... because of their high encryption. Let's see, we can deny, give them extra resources, or try bribery. We'll give them the extra resources. We gave 2,000 minerals and 5,000 food to the Visari. Gave 4,000 minerals and 2,000 food to the citizen state of Azuk. Gave 5,000 alloys to the Commonwealth of Man. Gave 5,000 alloys to the Union of Fadima. Gained a favor with the Ivzorak. Yeah, I don't think we're going to lose another Cybrex before this battle is over. This battle should be over by April, I think. Oh, now my allies land some people here. Now that the fight is almost over and I have it under control. Not quite by April. Or not quite by the start of April. It will be done by before April is over. Alright, so we are preparing sleeper cells with the Ivzorak. That was the other operation I had popped up. And we have an asset, Harpia Amato, who's making this real easy for us. The difficulty is fairly low.
War report. Enemy planet secured.
So since we now should have 100% occupation here, I shouldn't need to send an offer. It should automatically end on its own, and we won't need to vote on it and all of that. I can send this transport fleet back to Earth as well. And I'll go ahead and queue up 8 more war forms. Actually, let's go for 10 in each right now. I've got 7 queued up. And I'm going to need 4 more. We'll worry about the last 2 after we get them filled up with 10 each. And I can go ahead and send all my fleets back to their home. See, the Great Reformer needs to go back to Terminal Egress. And I think I will actually send the Manticore Defenders also to Terminal Egress. Well, no, there's no crew quarters there. We'll send them to Yilon. And I forgot about this second fleet that had popped up. We're actually going to end up scrapping it, I think. Alright, the Robot Union has been destroyed. Federation Committee is started for the next election. Now the first thing I need to do is offload these damn worlds. So let's see what systems we can transfer to them. I know Akulum was one of theirs. Kunbar, Erdelang, Sabik, Pirazur, Chai Draconis, Iowel, Nikonda, Obrium, and Jamel. No, Jamel was mine. What am I thinking? Tunabo, Haldana, and Urus. Gidzerak. I think that may be all of them. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's all of them. And you know what? Just give me however many favors I can get from you for this. One? Okay. And other than that, I'm not interested in anything in return. Just take your empire back and try not to lose it again. New faction has been founded, the Peaceful Advancement Group, led by Governor Vika No Water. Now that one is lobbies for national focus on financial growth and stability through peaceful means. That's a pacifist faction. Tilinesti recalled their embassy. Sonderthan broke their migration treaty with us. That's got to be due to influence. Citizen State of Azuk broke their migration treaty with us. They accepted. Oh, Toysy, we forgot one. Here. I forgot a system. Now try to manage your empire a little better, please. Garanshu has laid claim to the Limsa system. Pirac took their last city back, their last sector back. Garanshu broke the research agreement. Now next month we should see what our balance is supposed to be. Commonwealth of Man is in a research agreement with the Tilinesti. Citizen State of Azuk and the Commonwealth of Man recalled their embassies. Alright, so now we're at a decent amount of each of these. I'd like to get up to about a 20 surplus, but for now, until I replace the buildings in each of the refineries that are just all refineries, replace the last slot with the Otto Chthon monument and its upgrades, anytime I get over 10, I'm going to be replacing a building. Urzo is in a research agreement with the Garanshu. President Wadogs is still the president of the Federation due to the study into emission nebulas as a model for political discourse. And the Garanshu recalled their embassy. I have a feeling they're about to go to war with us, the other Federation. I like being in defensive wars, honestly. Tilinesti closed their borders. Citizen State of Azuk broke off their research agreement. So did the Commonwealth of Man. We gained a favor with the Commonwealth of Man. Garanshu broke their migration treaty with us. Citizen State of Azuk, the Commonwealth of Man, broke their commercial pacts with us. Now we've completed Operation Sleeper Cells in the Ivzorak. Let's have a look at the Ivzorak before we decide on this. We have 10 extra worth of assets. We could sacrifice this bureaucrat. Who's not even listed here right now, to make this last 30 years, and I think we're going to do that. So yeah, we still have 2 extra assets. Now these guys don't give the government bonus that he did. They just have subterfuge, but that works. So that's 30 years before we have to worry about the sleeper cells being renewed here. Now I want to see if I can declare war. Okay, now we are at a truce from breaking the alliance until 2474, it says. So another 10 years we're at a truce with these guys. And of course, because I'm supporting the independence of their others, I can't declare war on them since they are a federation, so it's going to be a defensive war next time. Garanshu broke off their commercial pact. Now they're actually just screwing themselves, breaking off research agreements and commercial pacts and migration treaties with me. I don't need the boost to population growth. My population is surplus anyway at this point. And I have a stronger economy than any of them. Garanshu laid claim to Alpha Centauri. The Darbalin completed their science nexus. Citizen state of Azuk is in a commercial pact with the Darbalins, and the Garanshu claimed the Nemelin system. Go ahead and spend your influence. You're never going to get these systems from me. So I have a pretty good surplus of everything. I think I'm going to go through all of my outposts and start adding defense platforms. I'll do one every 4 months or every 3 months and just queue up all of their platforms. So I have 23 platforms I can do at a regular outpost. Now if the outpost gets flipped, the platforms are kind of a waste, but I'm hoping the platforms will be able to engage first and distract them from going straight for the outpost. But 23 platforms. Well, I can do the 3 hangars, 2 Guams and a Farpoint. I believe the Farpoint is the class that's the way I was doing it. That leaves me 20. So out of those 20, I can do 2 kinetic batteries and 2 the Blue Star. There's 4. I can do 2 of the Codrington and 2 of the autocannons. There's 8. I can do 2 point defense. That's 10. And with these 3, that's 13. That leaves me 10 more. I could do 3 or 4 of each missile and 2 more point defense. So yeah, I could have 4 point defense, 4 missile, 4 rocket, and then 2 of everything else. Yeah, because that would get me down to 20. That'll get me down to 8, and each of these others, yeah, that'll work. So I think we'll start with the point defense and do 4 of them. And then 4 rockets. 4 missiles. 2 autocannons. 2 mediums. 2 kinetics. And 2 blue stars. Now, you can only do ion cannons at citadels or tier 3 orbital rings. But yeah, that looks good. Now, it's going to take quite a while to turn all of these out. But that really didn't do a huge drain on my alloys. So every 3 months I could be queuing up one of those until I'll just start here in Kochab, because I have star bases right there, and just start working my way across through Sugalia. Once I get Sugalia complete, I'll probably jump up and get terminal egress, and then I will get my other 2 main border systems, just in case these guys have rebellions and the Pirac has another one. I can do these sectors, and then finally get the 2 core sectors. Pirac built a strategic coordination center. So I think my naval capacity is so damn low because they're not really reinforcing the Defenders fleet just yet. Maybe I need to actually send them back home. No, they are going up. They are going up. They were in the 20s. Or in the 200s. But yeah, I think I will send them back home, so that they can reinforce a little faster. League of Brian States broke off their commercial pact with the Grand Shoe. Oh, and Second Fleet has made the Piranha's Black Hole. I can contact the conglomerated scrappers and get rid of this fleet. That pretty much made up for all I invested in Kazoo. Hazar built a gateway. Oh, the mega shipyard is done, so I should have a colony ship to send here, where I'm constructing another habitat. Sonderthan broke off their commercial pact with us. I'm thinking they're going to actually end up joining the other federation, possibly, or trying to. I don't know if they can, being the vassal of somebody in another federation. I don't know if it's possible for them to join a different one. But it has been another 5 years. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.